Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to class. It is good to see you here. I'm Dr. Priscilla, your conversational English coach for today's webinar, and I'm excited to have you join us. And so at the beginning, I'd like to find out a little bit about yourself. Could you introduce yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
I said my name is Bilquas and I'm a pharmacist. Actually, I'm Tara's friend. She added me.
Okay, great. Well, I'm very happy that you're here, and I
Thank you.
believe Tara will be joining us momentarily. I actually restarted the webinar, and that is why I asked that you reintroduce yourself. Welcome back, Tara.
Well, hi, Dr. Priscilla.
So I am here. So today, what we're going to do is take a look at an article that is online. It is going to be at the level of 3, which may or may not have any real significance, but there are some vocabulary words, juicy vocabulary words that we will learn today. So I'm going to take a moment and share my screen and see if I can pull it up, share my screen. Oops, can't go that route. And let's try going that out there. And it is going to be from News and Levels. News and Levels. I don't see it here, but I just opened it. So maybe I'll have to open it this way. Let's go to News and Levels. And do you see the art exhibition for dogs? Do you see that?
No.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet. Yeah. No.
Let me go back out again to Zoom. And try again. Share. Now, do you see art exhibition for dogs, level 3?
Yeah.
Super. Okay. So I know that I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Hawaii. Could you pronounce your name a little slower so that I can hear the sound?
Okay. My name is Bilquas.
Huwa?
Bilquas.
Tara, can you say what? Tell me what is.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that her name is Hawaii. Her name is Dil, and then the X, which is pronounced Kh, Dilwas.
Dilwas.
Yes, Dilwas. Yes.
Dilwas. Okay,
Yes,
thank you,
Dilwas.
Tara. Okay, Dilwas. What I want you to look at the picture. Tell me in maybe 15 seconds, what do you see? Describe the picture that you see. I'm listening for the way that you enunciate and how you understand my question. I'd like for you to describe the picture that you see. Describe the picture.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing you speak. Tara, could you describe?
Sorry, I didn't understand your question. Sorry.
Okay. Could you describe the picture? Describe the picture that you see. I want you to describe what you see. Describe.
Okay. I see 6 dogs, and 4 of them are standing, and 2 of them are lying on the floor.
Very good. There are 6 dogs, 4 are standing, and 2 are lying on the floor. Perfect. Very good. What we're going to do now is look at the vocabulary words, then we'll actually read the article. I want to make sure that you understand the definitions, and here are the definitions. Can you pronounce the first 3 words, Tara, that are in blue?
Okay. Interactive, purely, cruise.
Very good. Do you know what each of these words mean, even though you may be looking at the definition? Do you know what these words mean?
Okay, Dr. Priscilla, are talking with me?
Yes, Tara.
Okay. Oh, okay. So interactive meaning having an interaction with it might be with someone or it might be between two materials or subjects. Um, Purely here means only.
Mhm.
Oh, interesting. I thought purely was something pure, pristine, or just pure, containing of just only one thing.
Mhm.
Okay. And cruise is when people use a ship or a boat to travel.
Okay, very good. And Dulwas, could you read the remaining words in blue? Dulwas, could you pronounce the other words? Canine. Mm, so, so I think her connection is not so good today.
Yeah,
I can hear her saying something, but I really can't make it out. Can you understand what she's saying, Tara, or is it a bad connection for you as well?
no, I think it's I think it's a matter of a bad connection. She's
Okay.
trying to pronounce the word
Canine.
Canine, yes.
Canine. Mock up.
Mock up, good. Sensation.
Hello.
Okay, I can hear you. Continue,
Oh,
Dolos.
oh,
Sensation. And the last one is wag. Only because I'm not sure where you are with pronouncing the words, we're going to go continue. Canine is a scientific name for a dog. Mock up means to change, make arrangements, to make something acceptable. Sensation is the way you may feel or experience something. And wag means to move from left to right, forward and back, wagging. Something that a dog or a cat will do when they're happy or excited.
yes.
All right. So now what we're going to do first, do you understand these terms, Dolos? Any questions about those words?
No, thank you. It's clear.
Great. Okay. So Delwas, even if I can't hear you, I'm going to ask you to read the article. And when I think you're finished, we'll ask Sarah to do the same. So let's go.
From the first,
Yes,
or
yes, I'm going to move the screen down now.
okay.
Okay, you're going to start. Some people might consider.
Yes. Some people might consider a trip to an art gallery or a gallery a perfect date, but now it's a doggy play date. There's an interactive art exhibition purely for dogs in London.
Okay, stop there for me. So
Oh,
here we know that there's going to be a play date for animals.
yes.
Typically we have play dates for humans, not animals. So what exactly will the dogs do? What do they say the dogs will do at this exhibition? What are the dogs going to do?
No, it is interactive exhibition purely for dogs in London.
That's right.
Uh,
They are going to participate in an interactive art exhibit.
yes,
That's what the dogs are going to do. And where does this take place? Where does this take place?
in London.
That's right. It takes place in London.
Yes.
Okay, Tara, could you read the next paragraph?
Okay.
One installation.
One installation is called Cruising Canines, which consists of a mock-up side of a car and a big fan. Here dogs can get the sensation of sticking their heads out of a car window, a favorite pastime for many of them.
Okay. What is this paragraph about, Tara?
Oh, it's a bit confusing. this article. Cruising canines. I mean,
Okay, so remember, Tara, that the dogs are at an art exhibit. So they're going to experience things
mhm.
that are not necessarily in reality.
Oh, oh, okay. Uh,
So
oh, I got it. So like, so they're making them feel like they're might sticking their head out of the car, but it's not real. They're just making it up for them.
exactly.
Oh,
So today I was listening to Michelle Obama.
mhm.
She is the President Obama's wife, Michelle
Yeah,
Obama.
yeah, yeah. I know of
Yeah.
her.
Okay, now that they are no longer in the White House, she was talking about all of the freedoms that she, her daughter, her husband, and their pet dogs get to do.
Oh,
So they had two dogs in the White House, but the dogs had never experienced living in a single house. Michelle went outside, she took the dogs, and there were dogs in the neighborhood barking. And her dogs were so excited because they probably had never heard dogs bark before.
oh. That was a new experience for
So
them.
that's exactly right. That was a new experience. So this is a sensation that at this exhibit, dogs who are not accustomed to riding in cars can experience having the wind on their face. Okay, so that's what
Oh,
this is called.
got it.
And they call this the cruising canines. Cruising being traveling, canine
Travel.
canines being dogs.
Mhm.
Paragraph 3, Dolwas. Could you read paragraph 3?
Okay. Just to confuse the canine visitors, there's a three-letter dog bowl filled with play balls made to look like a dog dinner. Lastly, for dogs that do not mind a wash, there's a watery wonder with fountains magically jumped between dog balls.
Okay, this word is going to be jumping, jumping,
Jumping. Oh,
mhm, jumping between dog balls. What is this paragraph about, Dolwas?
sorry, I didn't hit it.
Summarize this paragraph for me. Tell me, what is this paragraph about?
Okay. This paragraph about confusing the visitors of this gallery that there's uh, yes, they have made field for dogs to play with to look like a dog dinner. Lastly, for dogs that do not like a wash, there's a water one that don't magically jump between dogs' balls. As I understand, they have made a field for dogs to play.
Mhm.
Yeah?
Yes.
And for dogs that do not mind a wash, there's a watery wonder with fountains much. Sorry, but I didn't understand the last sentence.
Okay. So sometimes if you go to a park or you go to an area in my city, water is gushing up. Okay. So wherever you step, if you step on this little, I don't know, gadget, water will just shoot up at you.
Yeah.
So as the dogs are walking in this area, if they step on this device, then the water shoots up in the air like a water.
Mhm.
The other thing is that just to confuse the canine visitors, remember the canine visitors are dogs. The canine or the dogs, and what they have is a bowl. They have a bowl filled with play balls, but it looks like a dog's dinner, but it's not. So that's why it says just to confuse.
Use them, yes.
Yeah, it confuses them because they think that they're rushing to get some food, but it's not food. It is not dog's dinner. It's just some play balls. Okay? It is just play balls. So now tell me again, summarize this paragraph again,
Okay.
or just tell me two
Uh,
things.
shall I read it again from the beginning?
No, do not read. Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Uh, as I understand, from your thought,
Mhm.
confuse the dog to visit it. They have made a like a playground for them
Mhm.
that's filled with balls that look like a dog dinner for them. But
Ex-
when they, yes,
So that's
okay,
what they've done. They've done an art exhibit or some type of exhibit for the dogs to play. And typically, when a dog sees food, they're going to rush over to the food to get it, to eat it.
yes,
But the dogs are like, wait a minute, this is not food. And after they leave that area, they can go to another area and jump and play with the water. Okay.
oh,
All right. So now let's see what the next paragraph is about. Tara, could you read the last paragraph? The artist said,
The artist. The artist said that he thinks that the play is really important to a dog's mental and physical well-being, and he hopes that the artwork gets a lot of dogs' tails wagging,
wagging. Hmm.
wagging, wagging.
What is this paragraph about?
Um, the artist who was in charge of this whole thing, of this exhibit,
Hmm.
um, he wanted to ascertain that the dog. Am I using it right?
Yes, he wanted to ascertain if the dogs
Yes.
would interact and have fun.
Yes. Yes, he wanted to ascertain if the whole thing is beneficial for the dog's mental and physical well-being,
Hmm.
and he hoped that this would provoke the dogs to wag their tails.
Very good. Very good. So there we have read the entire little story. I'll read the story. Some people, well, the title is An Exhibition for Dogs, Level 3. Some people might consider a trip to an art gallery a perfect date, but now it's a doggy play date. There is an interactive art exhibition purely for dogs in London. One installation is called Cruising Canines, which consists of a mock-up side of a car and a big fan. Here, dogs can get the sensation of sticking their heads out of a car window, a favorite pastime for many of them. Just to confuse the canine visitors, there's a 3-meter dog bowl filled with play balls made to look like a dog's dinner. Lastly, for dogs that do not mind a wash, there is a watery wonder with fountains magically jumping between dog bowls. The artist said that he thinks that play is really important to a dog's mental and physical well-being, and he hopes that the artwork gets a lot of dogs' tails wagging. All right, now, if we were to think about summarizing, there is 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 paragraphs. Just for the ease of doing this, I will summarize it first, and I would do it something like this. One, I'm going to say play date for dogs in London. That would be my summary for 1. 2, 2 dogs can stick head out of window. I'm just going to make it all one. Dogs stick heads from window. Dog heads. I want everything on one line. Dog heads from window. And 3, jumping. It's the water, jumping in water. And the 4th one is for tails wagging. Now, let's see. Dolbaz, as we go through this activity, at first, it may not make that much sense to you, but as you're reading, what you want to do is just pick out a few words or a few things that you can remember. When you do it like I've done, you'll be able to tell more about the article. You just add a few words on the front side, a few words on the end, and maybe a few words in the middle. Now, Tara has done this before. I'll do the first one, and I'll let her do 2, 3, and 4, and then we'll see how well you can do. So we're summarizing the article. We're bringing in whatever it is that we want someone to know. All right, so in London, someone has decided to create a play date for dogs. When I hear the word play date, I think of humans taking their children to the park so the children can play with each other. But this is a play date for dogs in London. Okay, so this is just me adding and creating opportunities to practice speaking. So Tara, do you understand?
Yes.
You're going to just summarize, add some of yourself into it, and use 2, 3, and 4. Okay?
And one of the activities, one of the models that the person in charge of the exhibit, one of these mock-ups was kind of like a canine cruise, where they're trying to make the dogs get the real sensation of just having a cruise, of just having the feel of traveling in a car, where they could stick their heads out of the car window and get that feeling. Will get that, like the little breeze just blowing on their heads. And in addition, they also managed to kind of build a 3 meters balls that contained 3 meters balls that contain something to play with, but they made it resemble dog's food. And when the dog would hurry up to get that food, they would just get splashed with water. So they made a mock-up of fountains between the balls. And the conclusion of this whole exhibit was that the artist, he just wanted to ascertain that this whole thing would be beneficial for the mental and physical well-being of the dogs, and it will just get their tails wagging. It will make their tails wagging.
Okay, and one of the things about a dog's tail wagging is that when a dog or a cat or any animal wags their tail, it just means that they're happy and excited.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we typically think. Okay, Dolwas, now that you've heard me do number 1, Tara did 2, 3, and 4, you can just pick either one or all of them and tell me something about this article. You can choose 1, 2, 3, or 4, or you can do all of them. You're just talking about the article.
First, as I understand, there's a gallery in London that's made especially for dogs. Okay. And this gallery in Australia is called Canines. This gallery that it consists of 3 meters filled with balls, okay, for the dogs to play with, and the dogs, when they feel the sensation that there's a dinner for them to eat, but they are rushed with water and all these things that can help, and there's also a big fan that will give the dog a sensation of that the dogs, when they get their head up or out of the windows of a car, when they feel that sensation, like the sensation of the dogs that are living freely with their families. And all this idea was behind that, making the dogs feeling feeling mentally and physically help them. to get the sensation of wagging. Wagging, which is a term used to express the dog is experiencing a sensation of happiness or comfort, as
Very-
I understand.
That was
I hope.
that was good. Now what we're going to do is force ourselves to think quickly. Try only to speak in English. Don't think about your native language. Try to speak in English. I'm going to use my timer, and you will talk for 15 seconds. At the end of 15 seconds, I will ask you to stop, and we're going to try to use at least one of the vocabulary words down below. You can use as many as you can, but I want you to try and use at least one of them. And remember, you only have 15 seconds. When you have 15 seconds to speak Duwaz or Tara, that means you're going to eliminate those excessive words like mm. They're not always bad, but right now in the 15 seconds, we don't have room for those words. All right, so I will do it first, and I'm going to talk for 15 seconds. What I want you to know is that this article is about dogs wagging their tails. It was an interesting article, and it had to do with dogs in London going on an interactive activity that was purely for canines. Okay, that was my 15 seconds. Okay, Tara, would
Okay.
you like to try first? I mean,
Yes.
okay, the time will start as soon as you start to speak, whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, so an interactive gallery took place in London where they made a travel cruise for the canines, and it was a mock-up to get them have the real sensation of excitement.
Okay,
Uh,
thank you. Very good. Very good. Very good. Let me clear my things. All right. Dolwas,
Okay.
whenever you're
I
ready.
I must not be good as Sarah, but I will try my best.
I know that's all that we ask. Just do your best.
you're doing
Okay,
great, Buzz.
Yeah, you're doing fantastic.
thanks. Okay, just I have to quickly in my mind. Each chapter, each chapter. Mm.
Okay, so Dolwas, before you start, oh, what happened to my list? Oh, I erased it. I was gonna say you can look down here at the words down here, but I erased them. Sorry. All right. You're on your own. Or just look at the words, just look at the vocabulary words, and you'll come up with something. You'll come up with something just by looking at the words. Interactive, purely cruise, canine, wag, sensation, markup. Okay? Just try.
Okay, sorry, shall we start?
Yes.
Okay. This paragraph was about an interactive art that's made purely for dogs in London. This installation is called Canines, which is mock-up type of car, which is a sensation.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good. That was very
Uh,
good.
okay.
That
Cruise
was very
sensation is that make the dogs walk.
good. Go was your 15 seconds has finished. That was good. You got interactive, purely, and canine. That was good. And when
I
you
tried to use all the words, but
very
actually I didn't know what was the.
which one did you not know? Which one
Sorry, I didn't.
which one did you not understand? Mock up, sensation, or wag?
Actually, I didn't understand mock-up and cruise.
Okay. So Tara, explain mock up and cruise in a way that the lost will understand.
Okay, so cruise in when you use a ship or a big boat to travel. So you're not gonna land on like let's say you're traveling from Lebanon to Greece. You're not going to land on Greece or Lebanon. You're just going to pass through them by these countries using the cruise, using a huge ship. And with the mock-up, it's kind of like to replicate a model. Uh, like it's not the real thing, it's not the original thing, but you're kind of like making your own version of the real thing. So you're kind of like mocking it up.
Mm-hmm. So it's in this case, remember they had the make-believe dog food? That was the mock-up. Okay. So it's something that's not quite the real thing, but it's good enough for an example. And for the cruise that the dogs went on, they really weren't traveling. They weren't trying to get from one place to another, but they had the fans blowing in their hair and they were like, oh, enjoying the weather. All right. So that was good. Very good, Tara. Very good, Delwas. That was awesome, 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 awesome. So the last thing that we can do now is to engage in a dialogue. As we look at the dialogue, Tara, you can ask questions. You can ask me a question. You can ask Delwas a question and try to, if you need to, look at the article and see if you can find the answer. Delwas, as you speak, if you do not answer in a great sentence or a good sentence, I will correct you. Your responses are not going to be very long. Tara, be very specific with the question that you ask. Ask a question, especially for Delwas, one that she can quickly find the answer in the article. For me, it doesn't have to be that easy. Do you understand?
Yeah. So
You'll
something
ask,
about the article.
you'll ask each of us a question, and then we'll do the same.
That is related to the article. Okay.
That is related to this article.
To this article. Okay.
And Delwas, if you can, try to use some of the vocabulary words in your response if it would be appropriate. Okay.
So Delhaz, do you think this interactive art or gallery is beneficial for the dogs, for the canines?
Yes, according to this uh, paragraph, I think they have tried to make it benefit as they see that it's important for the dogs to mentally and physically to be well-being because they have provided all the articles that make the dogs feeling comfortable and all the sensations that can the dogs can be happy and play with.
Okay, so different sensations during their visit. So I've given you a sentence now. Tara, if you remember your question, can you ask her the question again?
Okay.
Delwas, I want you to look at the answer and try to formulate an answer based upon what I have written as a good answer.
Okay. So, Delhaz, do you think this interactive exhibition was beneficial for the dogs?
Yes. Shall I read the answer or?
Yeah, read the answer. In my opinion.
Okay. In my opinion, the gallery can see the benefits for the dogs. The dogs has the ability to experience different sensations during their visit.
Okay, good. Now, see if you can respond without reading or sounding like you're reading. So, like in my opinion, the gallery saw the benefit of creating this gallery for the dogs so they could experience the sensation. I'm not reading it. I'm just trying to remember keywords. Do you understand, Delwas? Try that. Okay. Ask the question again. And your question doesn't have to be exact, Tara, but it will still be similar.
So, Delhaz, do you think that the artists who managed who were in charge to make this interactive exhibit, do you think that they they came up with the right mock-ups that would be beneficial for the canines. Do you think that the whole experience and the mock-ups and the designs at the end of the day was beneficial for the canines, for their mental and physical well-being?
In my opinion, the gallery can see the benefits for the dogs. The dog has the ability to experience different sensations during their visit to this gallery.
Okay, so she added a few words to it. Very good. Okay, and what is your question for me, Tara?
Um, uh, do you think they can come up with something that could be used for human beings, something like that? Just kind of an interactive thing, not just for dogs, but as genuinely as they pull it off with the dogs.
That's an interesting question. This is what I think. I think it's great that they had that for the dogs, but when I was in school and I was learning driver's ed, we were put in something like an incubator that had a steering wheel, but it was a big bus, but it didn't go anyplace. And a movie theater was playing ahead of us. And so we would drive as if we were actually doing. So I think that that was a very interactive activity, and I enjoyed it as well.
Oh, cool.
Okay. So now, Dolwas, can you ask Tara a question and ask me a question?
Sarah,
Okay, Bahad.
my question is, do you think that at the end of this visit, sorry, I think the question is, wait a second, I have to think about it.
And if you didn't understand the question, you can say, could you repeat that, please?
Okay.
My question is, why did why did they put the cruising canines on in this gallery? What's the benefit of it?
Could you
Do you
repeat the
think
question?
it's essential for the dogs? It is an essential sensation for them. What's the benefit of it?
She was asking, what is the purpose of
Oh, of the mock-ups.
you?
Okay. Dr. Priscilla got the question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in my opinion, the purpose of the mock-ups, specifically the cruise canine, was to get them to have the genuine feeling of being out in nature, to get them have the authentic sensation of being in a car where they could stick their heads and just get that little breeze just hitting their heads and their faces.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah, I get that.
And your question for me, Dolwas?
Actually, I have a simple question.
Okay, what is your question?
My question is that all this gallery can replace a real trip for the dog with his own? I mean, can it replace this station without all these interactive things and all these cruising clients and mock-up? Can it replace it? Or
So this is what I think. When I think of London, I think of wealth and people with money with nothing to do with it but just waste it. to give, to create an exhibit for dogs seems ridiculous to me.
Extravagant.
Extravagant. But in London, people have money that they don't know what to do with it. So they create an exhibit for a dog. A dog, who is to say that a dog enjoys having his head sticking out of a window? I certainly do not enjoy having my head sticking out of a window. So I'm not really sure that a dog really does, but a dog can't speak. So I would not like to think that an exhibit such as this would replace what humans would enjoy, but I don't know. As they say in London, or when they say when you're in, I don't know, do as the London, when you're in London, do as Londoners do. So there's my answer. All right. I want to thank both of you today for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed today's session. Delwas, what is your takeaway for today? What is your takeaway for today's lesson? And any other comment that you wish to make?
First, thank you very much. It was an interesting lesson, and I have to thank Tara for adding me. I really need it.
Okay. Well, I'm certainly happy that she did. Tara, what is your takeaway for today, and what would you like to add?
Our lesson today was phenomenal. It was unique in the sense that I learned lots of new vocabulary words. I came across some of them, but not in that connotation. And the whole idea of just having an art exhibit for dogs was kind of ridiculous. So, but it was fun. And all in all, I had a great time. It's always a pleasure to have a lesson with you, Dr. Priscilla.
Okay, it is my pleasure. All right, then. I will see you tomorrow. Continue to invite your friends. And if you have a Facebook page or social media page, please post the link so that others may join if they choose. This is something that will be going on until at least, I'm hoping to continue throughout all of December. I want to get
Wow.
exposure, but it will be, now I will say with a little caveat, I may change the date on some days because I have to take my mother to
Okay.
an office appointment, but I'm committed to doing it every day. Thanks again, Dilwas, for coming. Thank you, Tara, for being a great student. See you
Thank you,
next
Dr.
time.
Priscilla.
Bye.
See
Bye. Take
Bye.
care. Bye. Bye, Dr.